put it into DuckStation, the emulator, crank resolutions up to 4K yourself, which will make the game look sharper and cleaner. You can inject actual PGXP corrections so the game isn't wobbly all the time because it's a PS1 title and back.
No way. No way. No way a fan made this look way better than Konami. No way that a fan emulated this way better than fucking Konami. Hello YouTube, how y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? So today we're gonna be watching Konami is Worse Than I Thought by Some Ordinary Gamers. I don't think I've ever watched his content before, but the title definitely picked me up. Let's just say this nigga clickbaited me here. There we go.
Hello, guys and gals, me, Mutahar, and Konami is actually somehow worse and lazier than I thought, okay? Now, 12 days ago, I made a video in regards to the Metal Gear Master Collection, and I was telling you guys, like, how Konami is basically doing the absolute bare minimum for this game. Now, Konami, when it comes to HD re-releases, the laziness shows no bounds. Sometimes they do a really good job, sometimes they screw the pooch. Castlevania Collection on the PS5 is actually pretty decent. Tons of games, tons of options, pretty good package. Silent Hill HD Collection back in the PS3 days was so bad that when a game is starting to use Comic Sans, you should probably go back to the drawing board, okay? Now, Metal Gear is an important franchise to me, okay? I want to start off by saying I would not make...
Hold up, let's go back. Nah, bruh. What the fuck? Bro, we are 41 seconds into the video. I did not know Konami did this, bruh. What the fuck? I also never played a Silent Hill game before in my life. But what is with this writing? There is no writing like this in any fucking place. Bruh. Y'all gotta be fucking kidding me, bruh. Y'all are kidding me.
You should probably go back to the drawing board, okay? Now, Metal Gear is an important franchise to me, okay? I want to start off by saying I would not make this video
Lazy as fuck,
if Metal
bruh.
Gear did not mean something to me. Metal Gear is where I really played a lot, where I really got into story-driven games, right? Back in the days of the PlayStation 1, Metal Gear Solid blew my mind. PlayStation 2, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 blew my mind.
I never
I
played
must have
Metal Gear
broken so
Solid.
many child labor laws to get a PS3 back in the day just so I could play Metal Gear Solid 4. And would I do it again? Absolutely. Because this franchise means the world to me. It's a 30-year-long story that's filled with twists and turns, so unique to itself. It's an entire franchise that pretty much put stealth action on a pedestal.
Where was the stealth in that? When you fuck up remasters is insane. It is definitely insane. But where's the stealth in this?
It's an entire franchise.
They shooting at this nigga. Where's the stealth? Where's the stealth?
Franchise that pretty much put stealth action on a pedestal. And for it to get a remastering and for the games to be bundled again, I would be the one person that should be the most excited.
That makes sense.
If there are some new people who've never heard of Metal Gear can finally play these games for the first time, I'm a huge fan. Now, the Metal Gear Master Collection, in terms of this video, I have on the PS5, okay? Now, if you have these two games, the Metal Gear Legacy Bundle or the HD Collection, congratulations, Konami has literally sold you the exact same version of it. In fact...
No way. No way they did that, bruh. So they sold them the same game that's on PS3. The exact same game. Bruh, I would hate to be a Metal Gear Solid fan and to buy both of them. Because, nigga, all you gotta do is plug up your PS3. Nigga, my PS3 is sitting over here. It's sitting over here in the corner, bruh. My PS3 get no bump because I have a PS5. But I plan to plug my PS3 up one day. I'm gonna definitely give it bump later on. This is crazy.
In fact, they might have even ruined it in some ways. So let me start off with the positives,
Running
okay?
fades
This
immediately.
comes with
Facts.
a bunch of games. It comes with Metal Gear, Metal Gear
Facts.
Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, the original two MSX games. That's a lot of games, okay? I know
I
people are
never
talking
played
about the
any of them.
price for this being a little too
Hey, if
high,
they're good,
but ultimately, no matter what, you still
I
get
get it.
3 of some of the best games of all time. Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 are games that have aged absolutely beautifully. Metal Gear Solid 2 and how it
They
discusses
was good.
AI, misinformation, control with AIs over us, social media systems.
Mm,
That is something that you need to play. One of the most profound, well aged experiences. Metal Gear Solid 3 might be one of the best stealth action games ever made.
nostalgia.
Some people have prophesized that God was on the
I
development
play it.
team. Metal Gear Solid 1, while it hasn't aged all that well, still has that chilling atmosphere, and it is a game that if you've never played it, I highly recommend you sit down one day, one weekend, and just embroil yourself in that story. Now, from what I've seen positive wise, none of these games have been censored. You can still check out Eva in Metal Gear
W
Solid 3,
W
and
no
you can
censor.
still jerk off a snake in Metal Gear Solid 2. Nothing has been
Hey yo.
censored. All of the original games' charm, and that, that basically that time capsule has been kept. So that's one thing I wanted to just straight up say for the record. Now, the game is entirely on the disc, meaning that it comes with 5 packages. You can install the bonus content, the original MSX games, and Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 separately.
Hold up. So can you get the collection like on the PlayStation Store? Or is this like only a disc thing? If it's good, I'll play it. I'll get into Metal Gear Solid before that little remake come out. All can be on the PlayStation Store. Bet. I wish I had the money. I know a lot of Metal Gear Solid fans. Well, a lot of Metal Gear fans. And they highly love that shit. So if they love it like that, I would definitely get into a Metal Gear game. I think the only game I played was 5, and that's because I got it for free. But I only played like the first mission and I never went back to it. Maybe I needed to start from like the beginning so I can actually get like the story. Yeah, if I actually went through like the beginning and actually did the story, maybe I'd be into it more.
Which is good because you can basically pick and choose how much of your hard drive you want to take up. If all you wanted to do was play Metal Gear Solid 3, then you just have to install that, which I wish more games did. I'd rather 5 gigs take up my system than like 50. All right,
The
45
story was
gigs of
fun to
stuff that
play.
I'm never even going to touch. Now,
I
beyond
might
all of it, they've got a new
I might do
launcher
that.
for each of
Hey
these games,
Loss, how you
which comes with
doing?
some extra bonus features. So each game has a master book and a screenplay book, which are fun little additions. I'm a huge fan of stuff like this to just basically read up about the game development, a bunch of the history, lore, and whatnot. All of that is included, high resolution, solid work. What's not included are the instruction manuals for the game, which
Chilling
is
by myself.
baffling as fuck
So
because when
she
you play
be
the HD collection,
you
Metal
know
Gear
what? Never
Solid
mind.
2, 3, and Peace Walker have their instruction manuals bundled on the disc. Instead, with the
W.
Master Collection, you have to connect to Konami's website and read these shitty, like, instruction.
Bruh. No way you gotta go to the website just to look at these booklets they gave you back in the fucking day. Y'all remember y'all bought games and it came with them little booklets? This is exactly what the fuck it is. This is one of them booklets. No way you gotta go online to their online site just to read one of their booklets they used to just give you back in the day. That is very, very fucking lazy, bruh. Lazy. Just like reaction content. Lazy.
Manuals without all of the charm of the original games. Now, I don't know why they couldn't have just bundled those PDFs on this Blu ray. Have no
You
idea.
gonna tackle
Probably
me? It's
costs
crazy.
them more money in server space to just be running an instruction manual on the internet. They've got an entire interface for it. You can view the front and back of these game cases. You just need to be connected to the internet to read this PDF file. Insanity.
Online
Now,
manual.
the games do contain all regions, and everyone has access to every region. So if you buy a North American copy, you can basically download the European versions of each game or the Japanese versions of each game and play them. Now, I assume what's going on is the game is just downloading multiple different ISO files and just running them through the launcher. That's pretty much what I theorize. Now, when it comes to the launcher, one really cool thing that they've done, at least for Metal Gear Solid 1, is they added a new option which allows you to create fake virtual save files for other Konami games. So if you remember the boss battle between Psycho Mantis and Metal Gear Solid 1, where he reads your memory card and makes references, you too can relive that with the Master Collection.
Oh, yeah.
Read more deeply into your soul.
Bruh, this nigga used to read your memory card data? What if you didn't have a memory card? No, that's tough. That is tough.
I can see into your mind.
That was tough. You used to play this, Lost?
You like Suikoden. You like Castlevania, don't you? I see that you
He would
enjoy
still let you know.
Konami games.
And what's really wild about this is it kind of shows that the development team did go through some work at mastering this collection. So when you load up Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, you'll begin to notice that they've actually touched the ISO file and changed textures and words around. So for instance, when you load up Metal Gear Solid 1, a game from 1996, 1998, you'll find out that instead of asking you to press a start button, it'll correspond to your system. So for the PlayStation 5, it does the press 3 lines button, and there's actually some readjustments to the codec call where instead of calling things a select button, the game will refer to it as the touchpad. So in some ways, Konami has went into these actual games and have retouched them to match at least proper, at least updated them to match the current systems that we're playing. I don't know if they had to do that because to certify these games, they had to have modern prompts, or if they actually felt like doing it. I feel like this might have been part of Xbox and Sony and Nintendo requiring certification standards. So, okay, beyond all of it, how do these games look? So if you're playing on the US versions, you have the US copies of the game on your disc. Now, one creator, a creator I really respect on the internet, G-Man Lives, who's not from North America, he actually had a complaint about his versions of the game being the PAL versions. So to give you quick context, back in the original PlayStation 1 days, there used to be different broadcasting standards like NTSC, PAL if you were European, and CCAM if you were French. So NTSC for the Americans would run at 60 hertz. So 60 hertz being the refresh rate of monitors and television sets at the time. Now for Europeans, their refresh rate was 50 hertz. So on the surface level, this might not seem like a big deal, but the way frame rates are calculated is you take that refresh rate and you divide it by half because you're dealing with interpolated systems. So for US players, North Americans like us, half of 60 is 30 frames. Half of 50 for Europeans is 25 frames per second.
Oh, I didn't even know that. We learning here. We learning some maths here, y'all. I didn't even know any of this. I didn't know we was going to learn math in this video. This is fucking amazing.
So for Europeans, if you're playing the European version of the game, the ISO file that Konami has bundled is the European copy. So it just runs a little slower than the North American version. And what's funny is Europeans don't even need to go through that bullshit again. So Konami has unironically created copies of the game with a legitimately inferior version. And what's really baffling is these download files for multiple copies of the game aren't that big. They're like 2 to 3 gigs. Blu-rays store up to 100 gigabytes. How Konami could just not bundle all of these different versions into the same exact fucking disc is beyond me. It probably costs them more money to serve these as downloads than to just print them on a disc once. So,
bruh, there's no way these niggas are that lazy, bruh. They was like, oh, 25-year anniversary coming up. Let's give them some bullshit. Let's give them the same shit that we gave them on PS3. Let's just change the button layouts just because we can't just give them the old button layouts. What else we're gonna do? We're gonna fuck the UK up so bad. Because fuck them, that's why. Fuck them.
other games on these collections can be downloaded. So if you want to play Metal Gear Solid 1 Integral, the Japanese version, you can download that for free. And if you want European versions, God forbid, you can download them for free. Now, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 also have Japanese language packs that you can install for free. Now, even with the original two games that Kojima hates, like Metal Gear on the NES and fucking Snake's Revenge, you can still play those games in this collection. And they run as well as you can expect for two dog shit pieces of games. There's also the digital novels that you can download and watch yourself. For some reason, these are like 11 gigabytes to like 6 gigabytes in size. Dog, these are PSP games. How are you blowing them up to astronomical proportions?
There is no way they were 11 gigabytes. 11 gigabytes for fucking old ass games. No way. It's rare for them to even be 1 gigabyte. What the fuck? Why would y'all even do that? Why would y'all put the work into that, but fail everything else? What the fuck are you doing? Konami, what? I see why Kojima left y'all, nigga.
Maybe they remastered the art, maybe something has changed, but goddamn, Konami has blown these games up. In fact, if anything, you would think they have a Futanari fetish with how they've programmed this. How are two MSX games, all right, games that run on your grandmother's vibrator, taking up 530 megabytes of space on a drive? It's kind of insane. Okay, so anyways, beyond all of it, the ways that these games play are a little bit questionable. For instance, Metal Gear Solid 1 does not have any bump in resolution. The moment you fire this game up on a modern 4K display, you'll start to notice jagged edges upon jagged edges. It seems like Metal Gear Solid 1 is just being emulated in a 240p window, original game resolution. No way to make this shit widescreen, so you're going to be playing it just like the old days, okay? That's how it runs. Now, there's options to...
Not gonna lie. This is how the Mega Man series is. You gotta play it like this. The borders look exactly like this, whatever border you wanted to make. And you play the Battle Network joint just like this. Or any of the old Mega Man games. So Konami's not the only... Unless that is a Konami game, it might actually be a Japanese thing, for real, for real.
To change borders around, and for certain, boss battles, you can change the in-game controller port, so they've matched kind of everything you've needed. But why they couldn't offer some graphical upgrades is just beyond me. There is no option to increase the resolution, to make the game widescreen, to do anything. You are playing this game as virgin as you can expect. So content-wise, the entire game is there. It's just not upgraded at all. And it's kind of baffling because you can easily take Metal Gear Solid 1 as a game, put it into DuckStation, the emulator, crank resolutions up to 4K yourself, which will make the game look sharper and cleaner. You can inject actual PGXP corrections so the game isn't wobbly all the time because it's a PS1 title and back...
No way. No way. No way a fan made this look way better than Konami. No way that a fan emulated this way better than fucking Konami. Bruh, this is a new remaster, ladies and gentlemen. A fan made this side. The original creators made this. What the fuck? Konami is just lazy as hell. They the laziest niggas ever, bruh. What the fuck?
Back then, texture warping was a thing. And of course, let's not forget, emulators can actually run the game at proper widescreen. How is it that the gaming community can somehow create better versions of these games?
They are definitely shitting on their couch.
Entirely for free. The fact that they are charging full price to access this game, even if you buy it separately for like $24, the method that they're giving you just feels inferior. Even comparing this side by side in an emulator without any visual enhancements, you will notice that the emulated version just looks cleaner because they're putting some weird filter on the actual game that I guess is designed to help upscale the title, but it just doesn't work too well. You actually feel like, it actually feels like the Master Collection of MGS1 is blurrier than the original game, even at that original 240p resolution.
it's blurrier than the original game that came out in 1997. No way. No fucking way Konami is doing this. How is Konami getting away with this? How do you keep letting them get away with this?
So again, it just feels like a somewhat inferior way. Now again, I'll lead my actual verdict. I think if this is your first time playing Metal Gear, then this isn't totally the worst collection. Again, these are still great titles. If you've never played any of these games and you happen to pick up this collection, it's not the end of the world. But I think for a lot of the longtime fans, we kind of just hoped that Konami would treat one of their best franchises with a little bit more respect. Now, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 are actually so laughable that as soon as you fire those games up, it literally shows the splash screen for the Metal Gear Solid HD collection. Now, they've also modified these games so they have prompts from current generation systems. Although their copyright dates are from the HD collection. Dog, back in 2011 and 2012, they didn't even modify these games to match them up for 2023.
No way that shit said 2011.
Are from the HD collection.
Bruh. No way. They literally just gave niggas a PS3 game and said, here, PS5. Here. Ready for your disc. It's ready. No way. No way they did that, bruh. That's insane.
Dog,
bruh.
back in 2011 and 2012, they didn't even modify these games to match them up for 2023. So again, beyond all of it, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to look into a couple more things with these situations because it gets even lazier. So according to G-Man Lives, he says, it turns out the PC port of Metal Gear Solid 3 runs at a locked 720p with no option to change the resolution. You can't view the keyboard controls, you can't even change them, and the mouse aiming is atrocious.
What? What? That means you can't plug in the controller? You gotta use mouse and keyboard, and they don't even tell you the controls? What? What? Nah, bruh. Nah, bruh. No way. No fucking way, bruh.
They emulated the fucking mouse to match the right analog stick without ever factoring in how a mouse is different than a goddamn analog. Again, this is a full-priced game.
Bruh, the mouth is the right analog stick? What the fuck? Bruh, can you imagine the mouse being the right analog stick? So you gotta move ASAD. Literally be the right analog stick. I guess whatever button they use. I don't know what the right analog stick does in Metal Gear Solid. I'm not sure if the right analog stick moves like the camera, like it usually does in every other game. But it sounds like they use other shit for the right analog stick.
They're charging money for on a PC, and they can't even do the bare minimum. I want to just reiterate that one of the top reviews on Metacritic, 100 by the way, Konami could have done more for sure. Why the fuck is your review 100 then if they could have done more, you jackass? There are several titles that could have been included in this collection. Metal Gear Solid 4, MGS Acid, Twin Snakes, which, by the way, I agree. If they're going to release Metal Gear Solid 1, maybe work out the licensing reasons and give us the Twin Snakes remake as part of Metal Gear Solid 1. Dog, we are building the Master Collection, not the Cuckold Collection, okay? I don't want to sit and watch what could have been. I want to be the alpha in this. I want to play a proper Master Collection. So MGS5 remains a viable product in its own right, but Konami could have really filled us in on the rest. With that said, the original trilogy isn't just a trio of great games that people have strong nostalgia for, they're genuine masterpieces. And this collection is a perfectly adequate way of preserving them for this hardware cycle. Is it really properly preserved when these games are receiving mixed reviews all over Steam? And the fact that one of these Steam community members literally points out all the issues. Locked to 720p. Mouse support is just emulating the right analog stick. Keyboard controls are nonsensical and can't be changed. It is locked at 720p. That is probably the worst situation. So how is this good preservation? We should be reviewing these games as they are releasing them in their updated standard. I'm not arguing if Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 aren't great games. They're amazing games. It's just Konami has not done a good job at remastering these games to at least introduce new people to this franchise. What's kind of funny about this too is as the game is locked to 720p, the community, because people care about Metal Gear Solid, have already made a resolution patch that actually unlocks the resolution and brings it up to like 4K. Now, this also shows that the PC version of the game doesn't have any frame rate above 60, no ultra-wide support, none of that shit, okay? This is about as bare bones as a PC release you can do. And this is no excuse. There's plenty of game developers, like Sega, for instance, who re-release like Yakuza on their main system. Yakuza, a traditional console franchise, plays really well on the PC. Good frame rates, good graphical settings, great keyboard and mouse controls, even if real Yakuza players play with a gamepad. That's just a joke. They still put the effort in on releasing it on the PC. Konami has not. Now, it's at a point where these games are such bad releases that it's actually...
Sega, if y'all have like a creator program for like streamers or content creators, holla at me. I love Sega, man. Love Sega. Holla at your boy. Holla at your boy. Yeah, the Yakuza game looked good. Whatever the fuck this is, it don't. And this game probably like $60. Full price. They probably full price that motherfucker. That shit look ass. Compared to this
console franchise, plays really well on the PC.
This shit
good
look
frame
good.
rates, good graphical settings, great keyboard and mouse controls, even if real Yakuza players play with a gamepad.
This is insane, bruh. And I'm mad at that nigga giving this game 100 out of 100. With all the complaints. Hold on, let's go back to that. Bruh, this nigga gave it 100. And had nothing but complaints in the bottom. Why the fuck did you give it 100? I'm with cuz. Redundant. Bruh, nigga gave it 100. And then had nothing but fucking complaints. Look at all the complaints he had. And gave it 100. Bruh, you can't be that fucking blind faith as a fan, bruh. As a fan of something... let me come back in the camera for this. As a fan of something, you gotta hold the niggas accountable. You gotta hold your creator shit accountable, bruh. So they can make a better experience for you and everybody else. This is not what fans should be doing, bruh. You gotta hold that nigga accountable.
That it's actually better for you to currently play Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 under PCSX2 if your hardware isn't fast enough, or if you have a halfway decent gaming computer, you can emulate these exact games, this exact collection, mind you, under RPCS3 and actually get 4K. Like I've done, all right? It's insane. I literally loaded up MGS3 on my PS5, and it is a blurry mess. That's also 720p, it seems. And I can't change it to real 4K. Should the PS5 be able to run Metal Gear Solid 3 at 4K? Of course. It's all up to Konami. Clearly, they don't give a shit. Now, when it comes to the Master Collection, or sorry, the HD Collection on PC, you could even run the Xbox 360 version of that original HD.
Actually, fuck with Yakuza. Even though I never beat the first one, so I never played the other ones. But I'm going to play the Like a Dragon one, and I'm going to play the little joint where they were like a samurai. I heard Judgment is a lot like Yakuza. Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of is, because I did play Yakuza. Judgment, and I love Judgment. I love both Judgments. They was fire. Fire as fuck.
HD collection in Xenia, and still get a better experience than whatever Konami is providing you here. Yeah, they are lazy, and laziness is, without a doubt, one of the lightest sins that Konami has done with this collection, as sad as it is to say. This is a collection that they are charging you $60 to $70 for, okay? If I look at the actual price right now, it is an $80 collection, and that's just Volume 1. Now, I don't know if Konami is charging this money.
$80? $80 for that bullshit? Konami, what the fuck are you doing? $80? Games coming out now at $70. And you charging niggas $80 for this bullshit? Give me an emulating site right now, nigga. I will emulate that shit. Oh, hell nah. Them old ass games. Niggas ain't gonna pay $80 for them old ass shit. I bought a Nintendo 64 like 10 years ago off eBay. It cost me like $100, but they gave me the Nintendo 64, and they gave me like, what was it, like 5 games that came with it. I forgot what the games it were. But nigga, I couldn't get Pokemon Stadium or none of that shit because they was $100 just by itself. I was like, oh hell no. And obviously the Nintendo 64 was a nostalgia purchase because I only touched it one time when I bought it. You can get a cheap ounce with that in some places. Facts. Facts. A very cheap ass ounce. I'm not paying $80 for no game. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about.
Money just for the sake of, I don't know, funding the development of the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. Maybe that's the case, but they still should have put a better job. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Metal Gear is being introduced to a new set of gamers. At least give them the best possible experience. It's so hilarious how most of this collection is the work of Blue Point Games with the original HD collection. It's literally like Konami took that exact piece of homework and just put their name on it and just threw that slop onto the digital stores and a physical disc. That's all it seems like. And if you haven't experienced these games, sure, this is a fine collection. But I think for a lot of gamers who grew up with Metal Gear like me, this is just a slap in the face. And that's really what it comes down to. It's a bit of a disappointment, but at the end of the day...
Nigga, I'm disappointed for them. I am disappointed for all their fans, nigga. I'm not only disappointed in me, I'm disappointed for them. That is definitely slop, bro. That is crazy.
At least these are 3 amazing games. They're timeless games, and I guess that kind of is the only saving grace in this situation. Now, one of the things that I wanted to also talk about was the lack of other Metal Gear games. For a real master collection, why not introduce Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2? The brilliant turn-based games on the PSP. They hold up real well in my opinion. I made a whole video about them years ago. What about Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops? Yeah, I know Kojima likes to forget that game, but let's include it as part of the collection. What about the amazing Game Boy Color version of Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel? Why not include that? And clearly you've got Snake's Revenge. You don't give a fuck about the quality. At least give us the good games. Now, there's been data miners that have jumped into this and have found out that they've got more on the way. So Volume 2 will probably contain Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, MGS5, but MGS4 is on the way as well. Now, I'm kind of worried about MGS4. If this is the quality of the PC release for these two, for this trilogy, Metal Gear Solid 4 is one of the most confusing pieces of messes on the PS3. To this day, developing that game required the PS3 and required some special trickery. How Konami, if they're not giving a shit about 2, 3, and 1, are expected to even think of porting that game to PC or the PS5 or Xbox Series or Nintendo Switch is beyond me. I can't even imagine that they would give that game the accurate time of day, and that game may just be a giant mess when it releases on PC. But also, Metal Gear Solid 4 is a licensing nightmare. Beyond the fact that Apple has grown as a company, and I'm sure licensing the iPod and the MacBook again may cost Konami more money than they are even willing to shell out, they might even run into a situation where, I guess, getting the models for the BNB core, the 5 big boss battles where they use actual, like, models, maybe getting their licensing or their likeness again, maybe again a thing for Konami. I don't know how the legalities really work there. There are a lot of licensed products that Konami needs to get licenses for again, I believe. So I don't know if Konami is willing to do that. Maybe they might just remove all of copyrighted materials they don't own. But that kind of removes the charm of the games. I'm not entirely sure. But given the lack of effort they've put into this master collection, I have no faith in them releasing MGS4
I don't have any
for
faith
the PC
at all.
And honestly,
I have no faith in them either. I don't blame you, brother. I do not blame you.
It's not the biggest deal. Thank God for emulation, because where this collection fails, our
W emulation.
PCS3, Xenia, PCSX2, Duck Station succeed. So, in my opinion, if you want to play these games and you want to put maybe 5 minutes of effort into it, just emulate them. Because this collection,
W.
while it's serviceable, is definitely an extreme part of laziness on Konami's end. I'm a bit disappointed, to say the least, but I can't say that I expected anything better. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
W video. Last little bits and piece of that. Konami's lazy as fuck. They lazy as hell. Lazy son of bitches. Konami. Definitely Konami. That was dog shit. That was complete dog shit, bro. You not catching me buying that shit. I am emulating. I will learn how to emulate today, nigga. All right, YouTube. Peace.